Hi, I'm Kevin Malloy, Town Councilman, Town of Smithtown. You're watching KISS. Keep it safe, Smithtown. Enjoy the program.
Hello, I'm Patrick Google, and you're watching KISS. In the town of Smithtown, there are over 20 parks and beaches. Many of them have wooded areas. These are typical breeding ground for ticks. Some of them can host Lyme disease, a virus that can be deadly. We had an opportunity to talk to Dr. Scott Campbell, Laboratory Chief from the Suffolk County Department of Health Services, a local expert on Lyme disease and West Nile virus. What is Lyme disease?
Lyme disease is a bacterial infection caused by Borrelia burgdorferi, which is a spirochete that is transmitted by the black-legged tick, or what people refer to as the deer tick.
Where do we find ticks?
Ticks generally are found in areas where there are the hosts, and the hosts of the black-legged tick are deer and the white-footed mouse.
Can you get bit by a tick on the beach?
Beaches generally don't generate tick activity. It's too dry, there's not a whole lot of activity from hosts, so beaches are generally not areas where you come in with contact with ticks. You can pick up ticks as you go to the beach, through the grasses or the woodlands leading up to the beaches.
Can I get Lyme disease in the winter?
In Suffolk County, you are susceptible to a tick bite from the black-legged tick anytime that the temperature is above 40 degrees. So you can be bitten by a tick through the winter as long as the temperature is above 40 degrees. Most Lyme disease is transmitted in the spring and summer when the smaller nymphal tick is out.
How many different kinds of ticks are there?
In Suffolk County, there are primarily 3 ticks of public health interest. The first one is the American dog tick. That is capable of transmitting Rocky Mountain spotted fever. The other one is the Lone Star tick, which is able to transmit human monocytic ehrlichiosis, and star eye, which is an acronym for Southern Tick Associated Rash Illness. And the third is the black-legged or deer tick, able to transmit 3 diseases. The first one is Lyme disease. The second is human granulocytic anaplasmosis, and the other one is babesiosis.
Do all tick bites carry a disease?
Not all tick bites carry the pathogens for whatever pathogen that the species of tick is capable of carrying. It has to be infected, and the way a tick becomes infected with a certain pathogen is it gets it from a reservoir host that it feeds upon. Larval ticks that come out of the eggs do not contain any pathogens. They have to get it from the first blood meal. And it depends on the tick species and what the host is that it feeds on that is able to carry the pathogen.
Do you always know if you were bitten by a tick?
Sometimes you are bitten by a tick, the tick feeds and drops off and you're not aware that you've been bitten. Those are the ticks that possibly can transmit the pathogen because you're not looking. You're not looking for a tick. The tick may be transmitting the pathogen by the bite.
What should I do if I am bitten by a tick?
If you're bitten by a tick, it's nice to keep the tick, either put it in rubbing alcohol or tape it to an index card. Note the date, and that tick then is always there to determine by medical personnel to see what species it is and the possibility of what pathogens have been acquired by that bite.
What is the safest way to remove a tick?
The best way to remove a tick is to get a fine-tipped tweezers or forceps, get very close to the skin and pull straight up. You don't use Vaseline, you don't use gasoline or matches. You don't want to aggravate the tick because you don't want it to regurgitate any possible pathogens that it has in its gut into that bite site.
How effective are tick repellents for dogs?
When it comes to dogs, there are products that are anti-tick products to try to kill any ticks that get on the dog, but also you'll want to walk the dog as best you can in the center of the walkway of the woods in the path, so to try to keep the exposure down to a minimum.
How can we protect ourselves from tick bites?
Personal protection is a big part of preventing tick-borne illnesses. One way to do that is to consider using repellents such as DEET, and you can use that on your clothing as well as on your skin. So people can put it on their gardening gloves, on their gardening shoes, any things that they're constantly wearing out in their yards or out in the wilderness that is a risk of being constant exposure to ticks.
Are there additional ways to protect yourself when you're out in the woods?
Create a clothing barrier. That is long pants. Tuck your pants into your socks, and that prevents the ticks from crawling up underneath your pants and latching onto your skin and starting to feed in that area. Ticks don't drop from trees, don't fly. They're going to come up from the ground or the brush that's around there. So if you can prevent them from getting underneath your clothing by putting your pant legs in your socks, that's actually a very good way to prevent any tick exposure.
Where should you check for ticks on the body?
When you've been out in the wild, you want to check for ticks when you return. Part of that is looking in areas where they like to attach. And if they get in at the ankles and climb up that way, they're going to end up behind the knees, in the groin area, where your undergarments meet the skin, something tight. They like to feel secure, so they're going to look for a close place. If you've been digging around with your hands, they can actually climb up and them in the armpits or something around the upper torso area.
Is there a program to promote Lyme disease awareness?
We do have a tick surveillance program. We respond to any outbreaks of Rocky Mountain spotted fever, let's say. We do look at any potential outbreaks. We investigate it, we collect ticks, we test them for pathogens, we look to see what the level of infection is. We also educate. We have an educator that goes to civic groups, goes to schools, and we try to educate the public as much as possible when it comes to tick prevention, awareness, and trying to prevent tick-borne illnesses.
Can Lyme disease get transmitted from other insects?
There is no evidence that Lyme disease or any of the tick-borne illnesses are carried by other insects. Illnesses generally are carried by ticks. The public should be aware there is a risk of tick exposure and take whatever they can to reduce the exposure for tick bites.
How much time do I have to remove a tick before I get the disease?
There are laboratory studies that have shown that there is a time from the attachment of a tick to the transmission of a pathogen. So it's very important to find the ticks by tick checks as quickly as possible to prevent that transmission. So the sooner you get it off, the better. And it generally is around 30 to 36 hours. You're in tick territory, do a tick check. If you find any ticks, take them off as quickly as possible.
Who is responsible for tick control on my property?
Control is done on a private level. People have a tick issue in their backyard. There is no county program that goes to individual yards. It's actually up to the homeowner to address the issue and get somebody privately to come in and manage it, whether it's physical barriers, putting up fences, or actually chemical barriers, as like a barrier spray or spraying to kill the ticks that are present in that location.
Ticks are active from April to October. During that time, you should protect yourself by following these steps. 1. Always walk in the center of trails away from tall grass and bushes. 2. Wear long sleeves. 3. Wear white or light-colored clothes so it's easier to spot ticks on your body. 4. Wear a hat. 5. Use tick or insect repellent on your clothes and shoes before going into the woods. 6. Wear long pants tucked into high socks. 7. Always have shoes on, never walk with bare feet or sandals. Check for any signs or symptoms if you contracted Lyme disease. It can cause you to experience migraines, neck stiffness, fatigue, muscle aches, chills, joint pain, loss of appetite, or slight fever. The disease can affect the nervous system too, with similar results. Other symptoms can include memory loss, lack of concentration, and change in mood and sleeping habits. Untreated victims of Lyme disease develop arthritis over time. As much as half or more of these patients will suffer from severe joint pain. Sometimes it takes years before the arthritis goes away. For more information about Lyme disease, contact the Suffolk County Health Department at www.suffolkcountynewyork.gov/health. For Smithtown Government Television, I'm Patrick Google, and remember, keep it safe, Smithtown.
Hello, my name is Yasmin Rivera and you're watching KISS. Here in Smithtown, mosquitoes are usually considered a nuisance pest, but occasionally they can carry viruses that can transmit to humans or animals. These viruses can lead to illness or even death. There are two types of disease caused by mosquito bites. First is the Eastern Equine Encephalitis, or EEE. Mosquitoes infected with EEE can infect people and horses and other mammals, some birds, reptiles, and amphibians. The risk of getting EEE is highest from July through September. People at the greatest risk of developing severe disease are those over 50 years of age and younger than 15 years of age. The second disease is West Nile virus, is also transmitted to humans and some animals through the bite of an infected mosquito. Since 2000, 490 human cases and 37 deaths of West Nile virus have been reported statewide. Most people infected with Eastern Equine Encephalitis or West Nile virus do not develop any signs or symptoms. Symptoms of EEE or WNV can be similar, but EEE is a much more serious illness, and people who develop severe disease and much more likely to result in death. People with mild cases of mosquito-borne disease may develop headache, body aches, and occasionally a skin rash or swollen glands. There are 50 types of mosquitoes in our area. Most mosquitoes are active at dawn and dusk. One particular species, the Asian tiger mosquito, is active all day long and will bite any time of the day or night. Common birds such as crows, ravens, and blue jays carry the disease around with them, and the mosquitoes become infected when they feed on infected birds. While your chances of getting infected with the mosquito bite are very small, here are some simple steps I'm going to show you to reduce your risk of being bitten. Eliminate pools of stagnant water. When not in use, empty baby pools. Turn wheelbarrows over. Make sure roof gutters are clean and drained properly. Garbage pail lids should be emptied of water and put on correctly. Change water in bird baths. Clean and chlorinate swimming pools. Make sure screens on windows and doors do not have any holes in them. If you are out in the woods or outside at dusk or dawn, you can do a few things to protect yourself. Cover any exposed skin as much as possible completely with a long sleeve shirt and pants and socks. Consider using insect repellent on your skin and clothing. Use insect sprays sparingly and cautiously. DEET-containing products are not approved for pets and should not be used since it can cause poisoning. There are specific pet products available. For more information, consult your veterinarian or local pet store. For Smithtown GTV, this is Yasmin Rivera, and remember, keep it safe, Smithtown.